What if you could take your light polluted Milky Way photo from this to this without making it look like this, and all inside Photoshop? After editing countless tricky skies, I have found a simple and repeatable workflow that works even when you're shooting towards light pollution. So in this video, I will show you my step-by-step method for editing light polluted skies, so you never waste a night again. Now, to start, you need to understand how big of a difference this workflow makes. Most people will edit their Milky Way like this. They open the image in Lightroom, bump up the contrast, maybe reduce the highlights, and end up with an image that looks like it was taken with a first-gen iPhone. So how can we edit the same file but get it to look like this? Well, for that we have to use Photoshop and a simple but powerful technique called selectively stretching. This just means we'll boost the Milky Way while keeping light pollution under control. And don't worry if that sounds complicated. I'll show you exactly how it works as we edit together. But before we jump in, there is one critical thing you can't ignore. This is a histogram, a graph showing how bright or dark your photo is. Make sure the histogram of your raw files looks like this and not like this. If the graph hits the right, you are losing detail in the brightest parts. And even if you try to recover it, it will be pure white. So always check your histogram, especially when shooting towards light pollution. Now, with that out of the way, let me show you how to actually edit the image. Okay, I have opened the image in Photoshop and also opened the histogram, which you can do in a window tab up here and just click on the histogram. And basically, this is the representation of how bright the pixels are of the image. So far left is the complete black and far right is the pure white, basically the completely bright. And everything in between is the brightness value of the pixels. And it's important you can read the histogram, which is basically this part here is the darkest parts of the image, which in this case is this piece of foreground in the image, and maybe some data here as well in the darker sky parts. Then this middle spike is most of the data, so this tells me is in the background of the sky, because most of the image is the background of the sky. And then these bright parts is, of course, the light pollution and some details here in the Milky Way. But the light pollution is brighter, so most probably the further on the right parts is the light pollution. So starting with a histogram like this, I can see that I can push it to the right and still have manageable data, so nothing clipped. And to do that, I like to use a curves layer. And in general, in this video, I'll use curves and levels, my two favorite tools for stretching. So with a curves, I'll just push. You can see the whole histogram moves when you change things in the curves and the levels layers. But with the curves, I will just push everything up a bit, brighten everything to bring the furthest right part of the data, so this here, as close as possible to the right side. So something like this, maybe a bit less too. Yeah, something like this. I like to leave a bit of a wiggle room on the further right side, because if you push anything further than that, it becomes pure white, gets clipped, and we don't want that. So now we'll use a levels layer. And of course, if your image was brighter to start with, you might actually want to darken it, but try to bring the big spike, most of the data in the histogram, close to the middle, but at the same time keep everything in the histogram and basically not clipped, either on the dark side or the bright, because we'll actually clip it now, but controllably. So this is a levels layer. It shows you the histogram, and it's basically the same histogram as here. So all of this data that I mentioned is the foreground is useless to us. And we actually want to make the background of the sky the darker part of the image. So to do that, by taking this point here, which is the clipping point of the darks or of the blacks, and pushing it towards the middle, you can see we can get rid of data. Let's take a look at this part of the mountain. We make it darker and darker, and now it's completely black, it's clipped. But we don't need that, because if you're using my method to edit nightscapes, you know that we capture a separate foreground image and then blend the two together to create an image that actually has everything going on for it well. So a really nice sky that pops and a really nice foreground that is properly exposed. So with this out of the way, basically the darker parts of the foreground, we can see now that the background becomes darker and looks way more proper in terms of how the sky should look. And you can easily overdo it. Like, take a look at this histogram. We now burned some details of the darks. And I see people editing nightscapes like this and clipping the background. And for that, if you want to go for that look, okay, go for it, fair enough. But if you want a more realistic look, just make sure the background is not completely black, like this. See, it's dark, but it's dark gray, not black. It's not clipped. And that makes it look a lot more realistic. So basically what you'll do in this step is get rid of any dark details in your sky, of basically the foreground, to make the background, not the Milky Way, the background sky, dark or close to black, but leave it a bit of wiggle room to be actually gray and not pure black, because that will help a lot with the realistic look. Let's keep it here. Also, you might argue that this part is a bit too dark. So to fix that, you can get a brush with V. I had it already selected. With X, you can change to a black and a white brush. I will use a black one. And a really low flow. And I'll use this size because it's close to the actual size I want the selection to be. And basically what I will do is brush over that part that looks too dark to me. So I don't know how well you can see the difference in, the recording, and then the upload in YouTube might not be as visible. But basically what I did now is brightened a bit, or brought back the brightness of this part of the sky, so it doesn't look darker than the rest of it. And that's optional, of course, but if you see that there is a part of your sky that is darker than the rest of it, after stretching, after getting rid of the darks, you can do that to recover some brightness and make it gray. And of course, with, that's crop, that I wanted to press X. With a white brush, you can make it darker again if you see that you overdid it. Like, yeah, this looks okay to me. Maybe a bit of a black brush there and down here. Yeah, that looks fine. Now, about the other side of the histogram, I will use a new levels layer. I want you to see what happens when I push the white point closer to the middle. See, there are two things happening. The contrast in the Milky Way becomes much more apparent, and we get a better Milky Way that pops. But at the same time, we overexpose the light pollution. And here's where the selective part of the stretching comes in. So what I want to do now is take a look at the brighter part of the Milky Way, the brightest part, which is this here, I believe. And stretch the right side of the histogram up to the point where this doesn't clip. So you see, if I push it too much, now it clips. Let's keep it down a bit. I will say somewhere around here that looks good enough, maybe tiny bit more or less. Yeah, like this, perfect. And now we have to take care of this problem. Here, the light pollution that clipped, and to do that, just press G and you get a gradient. And then, oops, other way, just apply that gradient so you can see the mask here. And if you didn't have the mask selected, just select the mask. Otherwise, you get this. You'll understand if it goes wrong. But basically, you can see the mask. It applies on the upper part of the image, the sky, but the lower part is left untouched, basically. And yeah, just make sure you have a smooth transition, like this. I will argue this is a perfect gradient for this image. So let's zoom out a bit. We have a bit of a problem here in this image, in this particular one, because we go from dark to brighter to dark again. And that's why I will include an extra step that is entirely optional. If you see your sky has a bit of a gradient in there, so dark, bright, dark, after applying the stretch, you can just use a lasso tool, so L, or come up here and select it. It's the polygonal lasso that I like to use. And basically select this brighter part, the Milky Way, or of the background, sorry. Then you can see the lasso here. It has a minus next to it. When you shift, click, or when you press shift, it becomes a plus. And I want you to do that and then click again. Now we add to the selection, just go over the other side too, if you need to. And then get the curves layer, just darken it a bit. And then obviously this looks way too artificial. There is a clear transitioning point. So we feather the mask. You click on the mask. So these curves, you click on the mask next to it. And this feather slider, just push it up a lot so it becomes smoother. And you can also do that by just using a curves again and invert it, get a brush, maybe a bit of a higher flow, like 13% in this case. Don't worry about specific numbers, just use a random one, around 10, 15. And just brush over that part of the sky. See, clear difference, right? Before, after. Maybe we need a bit more on this side. And basically what we have done now is stretched the sky, the Milky Way, made it pop, but at the same time kept the light pollution down and controlled it. And we can also add an S-curve. You have probably stumbled upon S-curves before. Yeah, that's too much, maybe a bit less. Like that, to add a bit more contrast to the image. And I might add a bit more darkness up here. Yeah, okay. Or even, yeah, like that. And of course, there are a lot more things you can do to the image, but that's a really good starting point. And just look at this before and after. We started with this flat photo and made it pop like this, without overexposing the light pollution. Most photographers will stop somewhere around this point. But if you want my help to get truly amazing edits like this, check the link in the description. I just launched Netscape Masters, and in there you'll get all the resources, help, and feedback you need to improve your astro, no matter where you are starting from. If that sounds like something you will love, just click the link below and check the community. Hope to see you inside.